everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you can see by the title, today we're going to be talking about AFC tiers for teams going into this season, what I think, who are going to be Super Bowl teams, contenders, teams that need just a little bit more help in regards to maybe a player, a couple players, and teams who aren't there yet. So AFC today in this video, and then going further, I'm going to make another video about NFC teams who I think are going to possibly be in those tiers. Alright, let's go ahead and jump right into it. So first off, we're going to go into the Kansas City Chiefs. Alright, obviously, I don't think it's much of an argument. I think the Kansas City Chiefs are definitely a Super Bowl contender. They won the Super Bowl last year, obviously, but they're bringing back a lot of the same talent, minus a couple guys like Frank Clark. But they're bringing back the same talent, younger guys that have now learned on how to win a championship. Second, Denver Broncos. I'm kind of torn on the Denver Broncos. I think the Broncos have a lot of movable capability of getting better. I mean, I don't think Russell Wilson's going to stay as bad as he did last year. So I'm going to say that they're a contender. They're going to be stuck in the Kansas City Chiefs and Chargers Raiders division, which is a pretty tough division. It's probably one of the harder divisions in the AFC. Going with the Chargers, I think the Chargers are also a contender. I think the Chargers are more contender and needs help kind of an area. The Broncos, they're pretty stacked on offense for weapons wise, and their defense is pretty strong and loaded. Wasn't a huge fan of the Bradley Chubb move, but again, I think the Broncos are slightly better than the Chargers. The Chargers, I love their quarterback, Justin Herbert. Their weapons are decent. Their defense is getting older, and I think it's just not as strong of a team as the Broncos. All right, moving on to the Raiders. I think they just need more help. The quarterback situation, I think Derek Carr, Jimmy Garoppolo are pretty equal. I think they're both not consistent quarterbacks when it comes to play. I love how the weapons that they have, Devontae Adams and whatnot. And then obviously their running back, Josh Jacobs. Their defense, I think, could be better. Their secondary, I don't really trust their secondary. Obviously, they improved their pass rush with this last draft. So I think they just need a couple more pieces to make it fit together as a contender. Moving on with the Bills, I still think they're a Super Bowl contender. I do think they could use a couple more pieces. It'd be huge if they would get Dalvin Cook. I think that'd be a huge addition. Their running game last year, I think, was last in the league. Was not good. But I still think with Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, and the weapons they have on offense, they're going to be very hard to beat. Moving on with the Patriots. Honestly, I think the Patriots, I'm going to move them ahead just in front of the Raiders. I honestly think the Patriots are just a few players away. Their defense is the only thing that scares me. I think the Patriots have a pretty good amount of weapons. If they picked up DeAndre Hopkins and maybe a couple other things, I think their offense would be really good. I do think that they have a quarterback issue, which is okay, but they need to figure it out sooner than later. I think they need some more help on the defensive side of the ball and getting some more weapons on offense, but I think they're roughly around the same as the Raiders. Now, when it comes to the Jets, I like Aaron Rodgers a lot. I do think he is kind of a diva when it comes to playing football. He does look like he's a lot more active in OTAs, which is good. He wasn't really active when it came to Green Bay. So with all the weapons too, they had a really good record last year, minus having a quarterback. I honestly think they are a contender, but I think they're going to be outside contenders. I think they're going to be battling probably for the end spot, kind of. I think the Bills have the division, and the Jets are going to be battling with the next team that we're going to talk about, which is the Dolphins. The Dolphins, to me, I think they have a lot of talent. They've had talent for several years now, but their quarterback situation with Tua, with the concussions, is very concerning, and their talent is getting older. They did just pick up Jalen Ramsey this offseason. I think if they picked up another key weapon and like Dalvin Cook, that would be pretty huge. But again, it's going to be interesting due to the talent that they have. Just younger guys in positions like Tua and Their defense, I don't know. I just don't have a great feeling on it. I think they just need a little bit of help. I don't think they're outside contenders. I do think they're way better when it comes to the Patriots or Raiders, but I just can't see putting them in the contender spot. Moving on with the Texans, they're just not there. Honestly, they're not there yet. They just drafted an edge rusher and a quarterback this last draft. I think it's really good for their team. I think they need to get a head coach. They really need to get a head coach in there that knows what he's doing to solidify a good play calls and a good system in there. I think they've got now a good foundation, hopefully, and they can build off of that, but they need a lot more talent. The Colts, I think they just need some more help. Their quarterback situation is better now, but they've got a lot more of, say, they've got a talented quarterback with not much experience at all. So it's going to take some time for him. I think they need more help for weapons. Obviously, they have Jonathan Taylor, which is great, but they need more than just him. And when it comes to their defense, I think they just need a little bit better, more help on the pass rushing side and a little bit help on the secondary. Jacksonville, again, with the division with the Colts, Texans, and Titans, I think Jacksonville is going to be a contender. I think they're the best team in the division. I think the Colts are right behind them, but again, it's not that strong of a division, so somebody's going to have to win it. I think Jacksonville is good, but they're not great. I think they'll be a good team, but they'll be probably a first exit playoff team. Moving on to the Titans, I don't see the Titans. I don't think they're there. I think that they are struggling trying to find a quarterback. Derrick Henry's getting older now. I think he's closer to 30, and he's had to carry the load for this team. Their defense isn't there. They don't have many weapons on offense. I just don't see them as being a real true threat. Moving on to the Steelers. Steelers, I think they just need a little bit more help. I think it's going to take some time. Once again, I would put them a better team in front of the Colts and probably the Raiders, because they have, ever since Mike Tomlin has been the coach, they've always had a positive record or equal record as being a head coach. So I think they're always going to be a tough out, even with an unknown with Kenny Pickett at quarterback. I still love their defense. They still have a dominant pass rush. So I still think they're going to be a better team. Honestly, I would actually think they're probably better than New England. New England and the Raiders are just kind of, they're equal in a sense. That the Raiders have a really good offense, but no defense. I think the Patriots have a solid offense, but no defense as well. So I think they're pretty equal. Cleveland Browns, I honestly do think they just need one more thing, one more piece. If DeAndre Hopkins were to sign with Cleveland, I would put them in as contenders, honestly. I think that the amount of talent that they have on the offense and defensive side of the ball, they just are just missing that one guy. And I think DeAndre Hopkins could help fix that. With Amari Cooper and just the talent that they have in the backfield, I think they could be really good. Cincinnati Bengals, I'm a huge Cincy guy. They're one of my favorite teams. I would put them ahead of the Bills. I think, honestly, the AFC comes down to the Chiefs and the Bengals. I think they're the top two teams in that conference. I think the Bills would give the Chiefs the biggest run for their money when it came to the end of the season. When it comes down to the Ravens, I think the Ravens are a much better team than most of these. I would say, pure talent wise, I'd say they're probably better than Chargers, Jets, and Jags. I honestly think with Sean Payton back with Denver, I do think that the Broncos are going to be a tough out. And to me, Lamar Jackson is a really good, talented quarterback. I just don't trust him when it comes to postseason. He just hasn't really shown me that he can really win. So, yeah, this is my tier list, guys. Maybe I would move a couple teams around when the season comes up closer. I'm going to do another one of these going through the final end pieces of free agency. And we're going to piece this all together, and we're going to go from there. Next video, we're going to do NFC, so I look forward to seeing you there.